Hey, I appreciate you. Everything that you done for me.
I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance. And I think Canelo is made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out, and then they just...
Terence Crawford completed his last day of training camp ahead of the major showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Turki Alashik was also present at the camp, offering strong encouragement to Crawford. Terence thanked Turki for his support and assistance throughout the journey. Even after the demanding preparations, he reminded everyone that the mission was not yet complete and carried a confident belief that he would emerge victorious in the ring.
Hey, I appreciate you. Everything that you done for me. You and Riyadh said.
You must.
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
Job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
But
Saturday, deliver the job.
But listen, I appreciate the opportunity.
No retirement.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford's last phase of preparation has been driven by hard work and determination as he gets ready for the biggest fight of his career against Canelo Alvarez. During training camp, Crawford has been sparring with intensity, improving his reflexes and refining his defense while keeping his offense sharp and strong. His coaches and team highlight the discipline and focus he has shown, presenting him as a fighter who has prepared thoroughly. The footage captures him training non-stop, his body fit and conditioned, fully prepared to enter the ring with complete confidence. Crawford's determination is clear as he confidently states that victory is within reach, even though the challenge ahead will be tough. His interviews and training clips show a fighter who thrives under pressure, fully aware of the scale of facing a champion like Canelo, yet never questioning his own skills. His words reveal not just physical preparation, but also mental strength, keeping his focus steady. He promises fans that no matter how difficult the fight gets, his strategy, discipline, and belief in himself will lead him to success.
You see this fight with Canelo going?
I'm definitely going to win the fight, for sure. But, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm going to bring the best out of him, and it's going to be exciting.
Unlike many fighters who often push too hard chasing perfection, Crawford has taken a smart approach. He has openly said that he avoids forcing his body past its limits, choosing instead to give his best during well-planned training sessions. This highlights his maturity as an athlete who values recovery and balance. He points out that the hard work put in during camp is enough preparation, and that adding extra strain could lead to exhaustion or injury before fight night.
Training hard. I'm not even training, really. I don't want to overtrain because me personally, when I go in the gym, I give my all, and I don't want to burn myself out.
Lester Martinez, Crawford's main sparring partner, has issued strong warnings about what Canelo is about to face. After spending countless hours in the ring with Terence during camp, Martinez firmly says that Crawford's power is something even Canelo will find difficult to handle. He insists that although many believe Canelo is the naturally bigger man, Crawford feels just as strong and imposing in the ring. Martinez explains that the force behind Terence's punches has convinced him that a beast is coming for Canelo. His words carry weight, as sparring partners often provide the clearest view of a fighter's true form during camp.
No, está como dicen muchos, está cabrón. Está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues ya tengo los sparring con él. Tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí. Entonces, anteriormente estaba enfocado en ayudarlo, pero luego que me dijeron que yo iba a pelear, ¿sabes qué? Necesito ayudarte, pero que me ayudes. Y ya en el ring nos entendemos. Yo casi no hablo inglés. Todavía voy practicándolo, pero en el ring nos entendemos muy bien. Y hay una buena vibra, pero él está listo. Y yo también estoy listo.
El tema del peso, ¿cómo crees lo afectará en la noche de la pelea haciendo sparring con él?
¿Cómo?
Haciendo sparring con Terence, la gente habla, pues el Canelo es muy grande,
Sí.
2 categorías.
Bueno, en realidad en tamaño creo que están iguales. Pero en diferencia de peso, sí, a lo mejor Canelo está más acostumbrado a esa categoría que Terence. Pero te digo, vengo haciendo sparring con él desde que estaba en las 147 libras. Mi primer sparring con él en las 147. Yo era ya 168, sigo siendo 168. Y lo único que hizo ahora pues es subir de peso, aumentar de peso. Y sí, se siente muy diferente haber hecho sparring con él en 147 y ahora hacer sparring con él en 168. Pero yo creo que...
¿Cómo se siente diferente?
En el sentido que le he sentido más pegada, más explosivo, la rapidez, el snap lo tiene todavía el cabrón, no lo ha perdido, lo he sentido, pero creo que la nutrición que lleva, el equipo de trabajo con el que...
Former champion Duke McKenzie has confidently predicted that Crawford is built to break down Canelo Alvarez. In his analysis, McKenzie claims that many of the opponents Canelo has fought in recent years were not truly elite, making Crawford a completely different kind of challenge. He believes Terence's versatility, ability to adjust during a fight, and natural ring intelligence make him the perfect fighter to expose Canelo's weaknesses. McKenzie stresses that while Canelo has succeeded against a wide range of rivals, he has never faced someone with Crawford's level of skill, timing, and precision.
Over the years, when you look, since he's been off the mad cow meat, right? You look at his last 5 fights, he's boxed ordinary fighters, you know, and they're not in the same league. They're really not in the same league. And I think to myself, his last 5 fights, even what's that kid's name? Hamza Shiraz, right? So he boxed in his last fight. He knocked out, what's the kid's name?
Belanga.
Right, he knocked out Belanga. Belanga took your man there. He took him the distance. Now, you only got to balance it up. If Belanga can take him the distance, you got to say to yourself, what is Terence Crawford going to do to Canelo Cotto. I've got the names mixed up. Yeah, right. So, what's he going to do to you know what? I look at the fight and I think to myself, I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive performance. And I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore. You don't get any head movement from him anymore. He doesn't show you a punch and hit you with another one anymore. There's no variety in his whole sort of makeup. And I look at him and I think to myself, Canelo's become, just in my opinion, I think he's become a little bit pedestrian. And as much as goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines. There's no urgency.
One of the main concerns before this fight has been the weight difference, with critics arguing that Crawford moving up to face Canelo would leave him at a disadvantage. But recent training footage has quieted much of that doubt. Crawford now looks bigger, stronger, and more conditioned than ever, causing many analysts to shift their predictions in his favor. Observers point out that the weight issue no longer seems to matter, as Crawford's ability to add size, while keeping his speed and accuracy, has surprised those who questioned him. This has even led some experts to predict not only a Crawford win, but possibly a knockout. His physical transformation has made the boxing world rethink whether Canelo will actually have a size advantage once they step into the ring.
Don't win fights. And everybody, it seems like, that says muscles don't win fights usually have ridiculous muscle mass. Like Devin Haney was like, muscles don't win. And Devin's like way bigger than everybody else at 135 pounds and jacked to the gills. That's that snack shit. Okay, we're not doing that. But Terence Crawford also on that snack shit. Anyway, Bud Crawford did just drop a body transformation pic. Let's take a look at it. Boom! Son, I'm sorry, I have a flat tire. Does anyone have a jack to help me out? Oh, thank you, Bud Crawford. You're actually huge. The man has abs on his abs on his abs. I'm not trying to glaze, but that doesn't look like a 147 pounder. It doesn't look like a 154 pounder. That looks like a grown man. He's definitely put some weight on, coming to 168 pounds. And I can tell you that now, Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt because it is on weigh-in day, but look at what he was at 140 pounds. Now, again, he's out of camp. Hasn't made the weight cut yet, but that's him right now. But I mean, that is crazy. Couple of things. Yes, muscles don't win you fights, and the biggest question we have to ask now is, how will this newfound muscle mass affect Bud Crawford in the fight? Because one of the things I have said continuously about this fight is that the weight issue has been completely overblown by people. And what I mean is, there is not a massive weight disparity between these two fighters. What Canelo walks around at and what Terence Crawford walks around at is probably similar, and maybe Terence Crawford even weighs a little more. I don't know. I saw the picture of the scale of him at 186. It may be a little less when he's normally not trying to gain weight, but that's not the point of the weight difference. The point of saying there is a weight difference is that Canelo Alvarez has consistently fought and been successful at 160 to 160.
Controversy sparked when analyst Showbiz the Adult speculated that the fight might be fixed after noticing Turki Alashika's involvement in Crawford's camp. In footage, Turki is heard telling Terence not to retire after the Canelo fight, which Showbiz interpreted as a possible hidden message about returning a favor. The claim suggests that since Turki helped make the fight happen, he could expect something back from Crawford. Although this theory remains speculative, it has fueled debate among fans and analysts, raising questions about whether outside influences could impact the fairness of such a major matchup.
But Turki, in a second thought, said, no, I'm going to deliver this message. He goes back to Bud, and he says, and don't retire after this. Don't retire.
No retirement. Let's get it. Yeah.
That's what Turki meant when he was trying to say, return the favor.
Y'all see,
You must
the job ain't done
return.
yet.
Yeah.
I did this for you. You got this big fight. Yeah, the job ain't done. Deliver the job. But don't retire. Return the favor. That is the most important part, and we're going to break that down. The deliver the job thing, that is more of a language difference, okay? Because Bud is saying, listen, the job ain't done. He said, oh yeah, deliver the job Saturday. Mostly meaning, put on a good fight. Fight your heart out. If you win, cool. That'll be best if you win. But I'm just saying, it's not about winning. Winning is about trying. Winning is about going for greatness. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't undefeated. Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Muhammad Ali, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, some of these Gene Tunney, some of the greatest fighters of all time, Willie Pep, Sandy Sadler. These guys weren't undefeated, right? But that's what made them great, is that they were taking on all challenges. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh knows that the product isn't the fighter. The product is the sport. So he's trying to put on the best matches, which is why he's saying, don't retire, return the favor, because I got more ideas for you.
Rapper Boozy joined the conversation by calling Terence Crawford a silent killer. He explained that Crawford's calm nature and quiet confidence make him even more dangerous, since he doesn't depend on trash talk or showmanship. Instead, he lets his performance in the ring speak for itself, driven by unshakable determination. Boozy warned that Canelo must be very cautious, as Crawford's composed demeanor hides the explosive power and precision he unleashes in fights. By labeling him a silent killer, Boozy captured Crawford's true persona, a fighter who doesn't seek attention with words, but makes his statements with his fists.
Yes. I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out of them, then they just, you know, I've been like that with them niggas. Like, I didn't watch Crawford. I didn't hung out with this nigga. This is my boy. Like, this nigga got a killer in him. You know, Canelo better be fucking ready. Like, this nigga got a killer in him.
Boxing analyst Russ Amber emphasized how rare Crawford's move is, jumping several weight classes to challenge one of the sport's most dominant champions. He noted that only a handful of fighters in history have attempted such a step, and even fewer have succeeded. This daring decision shows not only Crawford's ambition, but also his readiness to risk it all to secure his legacy. Amber praised Crawford's fearlessness, pointing out that win or lose, taking on this challenge sets him apart from most fighters.
Can't think of anybody, especially someone who hasn't even competed in that division. So Yeah, I can't think of anybody. And to think that Crawford, started out at 135. I mean, the last guy I can think of doing that would have been Duran. But I think Duran went up and won the title at middleweight, and he didn't do it all in one fell swoop. It was one weight category after another. Leonard at 35, Davey Moore at 54, then Iran Barkley at 60. I mean, it just kept moving up. But I don't know of anybody that's gone from 35 up to 168 and basically leapfrogged the division. So from champion at 147, one fight at 154, and then leapfrogged over an entire section of top 10 contenders at 168 pounds, never having fought at 168. Oh, leapfrogged to 160, over into the contenders at 168, right into a title shot. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's done that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Tommy, over the last couple of years, I think Canelo's come to rely on his power. Do you think that'll be enough against Crawford's ring IQ and his combinations and footwork?
I can't think of any fighter where punching power alone is enough. So, Canelo has come around with two things, punching power and defense. He's still very, very difficult to hit, which allows him to load up on shots and get into the range that he wants to get into, where he can fire away with hard punching power, not setting them up as much as he used to in the past, not having that, that same work rate that he used to have. But if he's just thinking...
Another key talking point in this matchup has been the size comparison between the two fighters. While Canelo has long been viewed as the naturally bigger man, recent footage shows Crawford now matching or even surpassing him in physical stature. Observers recall that Crawford already appeared strong and well-adjusted when he moved up for the Madrimov fight, looking bigger on fight night. Now at 168, he seems to have filled out his frame even more impressively. The sight of a bulked-up yet sharp Crawford has surprised analysts who once thought Canelo's physicality would be overwhelming. Instead, the comparison now suggests that Crawford has not only closed the gap, but may even hold the advantage.
When he fought Israel Madrimov, that was at the 154-pound weight limit. But when Crawford actually got into the ring on fight night, he was actually the heavier of the two men, clocking in at 169.8 pounds. We'll call it 170 just for the ease of the video. But 170 pounds at 154, that's a very, very solid rehydration. That is a very good weight for a 154-pound fighter. And our man Canelo Alvarez gives us evidence and testament to this. I've gone back through the years to have a look at what Canelo weighed in the ring when he fought 154 pounds to give us context as to the size difference. And don't get me wrong, Canelo will be bigger now than he was back then, but Crawford will be too. Crawford will also put that extra size on, and whilst he's not experienced fighting with the extra weight, it will give us some kind of understanding of how much of an issue it might be. We'll take everything into account, but just to begin with, how big is the size difference? Well, going back and look at some of these fights, we'll start with the Floyd Mayweather fight. So that was at 152-pound catch weight. And I said in my tactical video that Canelo was dehydrated for that one, that he wasn't at his maximum capability. Now, I still stand by that assessment because he was so green in his career and because I feel his best performances have come at higher weight classes, and especially where he's not been having to cut lots of weight. But just for context in that one, he was 165 pounds in the ring versus Floyd that night. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather weighed 150.5 pounds, so there was actually a 14.5-pound weight difference that night. So you start to understand where I'm going with this in this video. I want to look at the context of where there's been weight gaps before. So someone who was 14.5 pounds lighter than Canelo was able to beat him on that night. Now look, Mayweather is an all-time great. Mayweather was unbelievably skilled and had soldiers tied up in knots. He couldn't do anything with him. But let's look at some other fights for some more context. When he fought Austin Trout, they were around about the same when they got in the ring. When they fought at 154 pounds, Canelo was 172 and Trout was 171. And that's really interesting to look at because that tells us that Canelo was only a couple of pounds heavier than Crawford when rehydrated when he fought at 150.
Crawford's trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, has firmly stated that his fighter is already bigger than most people realize. In his words, the jump to 168 pounds is not as drastic as critics make it out to be. Bomac argues that Canelo's size has been exaggerated and that Crawford has the natural frame and strength to compete on equal terms at super middleweight. His confidence in Crawford's ability to adapt reflects the camp's belief that Terence isn't entering unfamiliar ground, but instead stepping into a weight class where he can excel.
Bomac also added that when Crawford said that he's gonna fight Canelo at 168, that he was completely fine with it because Crawford is already a natural big guy to begin with, and that once again, contrary to popular belief, Canelo is not the bigger guy. Basically, if anything, it's easier for Crawford because he's no longer gonna have to drain himself.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more. Until next time.